Honestly, it's true.
Hello! Good evening and happy Sunday to each and every one of you joining us for this week's episode of Your Manchester.
That's right, we're here now. Don't forget, twice a week, serving you up some Your Manchester goodness.
Ooh, and we've got a really, really busy show ahead. Ash Stone is chatting to author Georgia Howarth about her new book, Hubris, The Chronicles of a Tooth Fairy.
And our Oliver Mortimer asks, do you think you know Manchester?
Do you?
Do you? Do you?
I think I do. And we're chatting to author David Menon, whose new book asks, who are the bad guys? Who are they?
Who are the bad guys? Let's have a look at how your Sunday evening here on Your Manchester is shaping up.
Have you been watching this year's I'm a Celeb?
Oh, I have indeed. It's all very, very good, isn't it? Now, my money is on Chris Moyles to be king of the jungle.
Oh, no, I'm going for Boy George. I am such a big Culture Club fan myself. But we've seen him clashing with ITV News anchor Charlene White, haven't we, over the Who Gets to Cook for Camp?
It's all to do with the mushrooms, you know.
It is.
It's to do with the mushrooms.
Don't think I could live on rice and beans, though.
Yeah, but you know what? He can annoy as many people as he possibly wants, Boy George. You know what? Because it'll all come back to him. Do you know why? Because that's karma. Karma chameleon.
Chameleon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you know?
You come and go.
Do you know, I'd like to give it a go, though.
Would you be good at it? Are you scared of insects?
I'm not that scared of insects, although I must just tell you, I was in Mexico once, right? And we'd been to this really nice, I'd had a manly day.
Oh, right. It's not like you, is it?
Masculine day, let's put it that way, masculine day. And we'd been underground, we'd been everywhere.
You sure you weren't in Durham? Down the mines?
Wigan. And we'd gone all around this place and we'd had, like, you know, on canoes and everything like that, waterfalls, the lot. And then we thought it was all over. I was relieved. I was relaxed. I'd done all the masculine stuff that was needed to be done. We went to this very posh restaurant, at which point I noticed that I could feel a tickling on my face.
What sort of restaurant was that?
No. This tickling was a cockroach on my face. It must have been about yay big.
You know, I think I'd be all right with that. I just don't like spiders.
You don't like spiders?
No, not my cup of tea at all.
I'm very good with 8 legs.
Not sure what's not sure what's worse, or that, or living in a jungle with Matt Hancock. Swiftly moving on and over to Ash Stone, who earlier this week caught up with author Georgia Howarth about her new book, Hubris, The Chronicles of a Tooth Fairy. Check this out.
Now, Georgia has, in fact, just written this absolutely sensational and slightly in places dark little fairy tale. I don't want to give too much away. It's an absolutely brilliant book, and it concerns Granny Greenteeth. She is the tooth fairy, and basically she will be in a story of redemption, in a story of going back to goodness, and everything in between. Tell us a little bit, where did the ideas come from, Georgia?
Oh, well, when your father basically says to you every night, if you don't clean your teeth, Granny Greenteeth will come make your teeth green. Yeah. And my sister and I, being two quite feisty little kids, said, yeah, and where does she live? He used to pull back the curtain and show us this massive tower. So those two things, we lived in a village where there was a huge chimney, and with a fertile mind, and a great big landmark like that, who wouldn't create something horrific to live in there? And I think then when I had my child and we started to try and get him to clean his teeth, I kind of followed the model. And my son obviously is a little bit more feistier than me and kept questioning. And so we ended up with, I created more and more stories, and he was a bit upset she didn't have a friend. So I created a friend.
And it's Colin the spider.
Colin is a rather large house spider. He just felt totally indebted to her, and he's totally in love with this friend of his that he has, who he can't help. He can't help her turn back. He can't help her get free, but he can be her friend. And I think this is one of the themes in the story is friendship. Yeah. That friendship helps you come through some really tough times, some really, changing life experiences. There is Felix he's an 11-year-old boy. He's in the book too.
Who hates his sister, his baby sister.
He loathes his baby
sister. Yeah.
There is a sibling rivalry
as there always
theme.
is.
going on in there. It's one of the bigger themes. And Felix and Granny meet up, and they again become friends, and that relationship becomes life-changing for her, and it also teaches Felix a lot as well. If I don't want to give any spoilers away,
I'm desperately trying not to, because the book is so good, slightly dark and deliciously sarcastic in places, a nice sprinkling of wit, as only fairy dust can do. As with all many of the fairy tales that we know and love, and obviously this fantastic book which you have written, which is available on Amazon and also Kindle.
Yep, hardback, paperback, and the e-reader version.
And I want you to tell us this, Georgia, how well is it doing? I know, but I want you to tell our audience.
It's done amazingly. I don't know if anybody has published their own book or anything like that, but there is an algorithm on Amazon, and it goes day sales, and it's entered on the first day that we published it at 7,000.
Wow.
Which is amazing, given that there are 3 million books on Amazon that are available.
Fabulous.
And then there are a number of categories you can put it into, and it went to number 1 in Myths and Fairy Tales.
Hubris, The Chronicles of a Tooth Fairy by the gorgeous Georgia Howarth is available now on Kindle and Amazon. Georgia, thank you for joining us here in your Manchester. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
And we look forward to volumes 2, 3, and maybe 4.
2, 3, and 4. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be good, isn't it? Now, I've grown up in Manchester. How long have you been here for?
Oh, goodness me, about 5 years now, but I can't imagine ever moving back home, actually.
Back home to where?
To Durham.
To Durham. Yes. Well, our next piece from Ollie Mortimer says, do you think you know Manchester? And I think we might learn something from here, as he takes us around some very famous locations here in our city.
It's a beautiful day and I can't stop myself. Hello, I'm Ollie and I'm here with your Manchester. I'm at the beautiful Mayfield Park, as it's time for something that I like to call Think You Know Manchester, and I'm here to show you around 3 different locations which you might not have even heard of, or they're slightly newer. Mayfield Park, Manchester city centre's first new public park in over 100 years, and is home to several open greens, adventure play areas, meadows, a river and sheltered structures. A variety of running, walking and cycling routes are available, and it's been approved to run events until 11 PM. And I'll tell you, it's absolutely stunning, this park. I feel at home. Do you know what is good about this park though? The nature, the flowers. So this park was built with the idea that it's in layers. So you'll have several different walkways, several different routes for walking, cycling. You've got meadows, a stream running round. You've even got an adventure play area in summer. This would be absolutely stunning. Deck chairs out. You can lie down just like I'm going to do now. And that's your day sorted. Really fancy bins, actually. It reminds me, I feel like I'm in Star Wars. Like, look at this, really clean and... Oh, not inside. We started walking, and then we realised that we're actually heading towards the motorway instead of towards the play yard. You join me? Oh my goodness me, how are kids supposed to do this? Oh, right. Top tier entertainment. No. Oh, Jesus. That's Mayfield Park for you. So we have just arrived at the second location of today's Think You Know Manchester. Circle Square. So as you can see, Circle Square is home to entertainment, retail, leisure. This is home to several Vita Living uni student accommodation. And another thing that makes Circle Square so special is that it's home to several eateries, being the Hatch, which is a mini Circle Square in itself. And it started to get a little bit windy, I don't know, my mind's kind of going away with me here. Hello Oriental, it's got a supermarket, it's got a bar, it's got a restaurant. Oh my god, this is called Symphony Park. It's got some work doing to it at the minute, as Adidas are having an exhibition. And another reason why I've chosen Circle Square on today's Think You Know Manchester is purely because of Hello Oriental. I'm just going to go for one now. Lunch guys? We have just arrived at the final location that I've selected for today's video. This is First Street, a place to live, work and play. From 1825, First Street was home to the Gaythorne Gasworks. For over 100 years, gas production continued here until 1929. And it wasn't actually until 2007 when plans arise to reinvent the site, creating what is there today. A further 4 phases of development are planned for First Street to home high-quality residential developments and top-tier office spaces. Everything that you are seeing right now is only the first of 4 phases. I'm terrified that I'm going to walk into a tree of development. 4 phases! And we are now just entering into the main square of First Street. Now this is somewhere to detox. Oh my god, it's Auto Trader. It's home, an iconic Manchester-centric place for theatre, arts and cinema. Home to the Gasworks, Bunny Jacksons, Starbucks and Sainsbury's, if you don't mind me. Oh my goodness, First Street Bar and Kitchen. I mean, that shows you another thing that First Street is absolutely great for, doesn't it? It's a great place to share with your family and friends. We have arrived. Hello.
All right.
Yes, at Bunny Jackson's. I must say, I'm not very good with spice. Do I actually have to eat this? How does anyone do this well? And with that, do you think you know Manchester? I wish I didn't after this.
Hey.
Oh, poor Ollie.
Somebody's going to be doing a Ring of Fire in a few hours. All right.
Learning something new every day is all about Manchester. So, not learning something new is don't go and get the hot chicken from Bunny
You've got
Jackson's.
to. Do you not like hot food?
No.
Love me hot food.
Well, just a quick heads up. Don't ever buy me hot food. And you can learn more about your Manchester over on our social media. For loads of behind-the-scenes pics and videos, check out our Instagram and Twitter. We can be found at your MCR.
Now, next, we're joined by Derby-born author David Menon, who works include Uncle Dad and his new title, which is called Who Are the Bad Guys?
Let's find out exactly who the bad guys are. Good evening, David.
Good evening to you both. How are you?
We're very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. Thank you very much. It's great to talk to you.
Thank you. Now, you've travelled an awful lot, David. Would you say that that's influenced your writing?
Oh, very, very much so, yes. I mean, often I have conversations with people, and years later, when I'm sitting at my laptop, they'll come into my head. So be careful what you tell me during this interview, because you never know. It might end up in one of my books.
Listen, you've written this wonderful book called Uncle Dad and Who Are the Bad Guys? This new one, of course, is called Who Are the Bad Guys? Who are the bad guys? What's this story all about?
Well, you see, it starts off with the attempt on the life of a Salford University professor who's brought out a book called Who Are the Bad Guys? And it's a book about international terrorism and who really are the bad guys in the world. Now, following that, there's a terrorist attack on Piccadilly Station in Manchester, and the finger is pointed at certain extremists. However, my Detective Chief Inspector Lauren Blake of Greater Manchester Police, she sets out to investigate because a series of apparently unconnected murders follow the terrorist attack. And they involve a couple from North Manchester and one of Manchester's Labour MPs as well. And she's being fed a line by British intelligence that the bombing is due to that the bombing is due to a particular form of Islamic extremism. And she's not convinced. The more she investigates, she's just not convinced that this is the case. And then subsequently, she finds things out, and I won't tell you where it goes from there.
Oh,
not giving away the ending.
I know. Sounds very, very good, doesn't it?
Well, it's a page turner. It's entertaining.
Yeah, sounds very. Is it dark? Would you say dark?
It is dark. I mean, the subject matter is dark, but you know, there's lots of light moments in it as well. Because I like to have a bit of a laugh as well as frighten people. But it is it's a fairly dark book.
Very, very quickly, are we right in saying that you once made a cheese sandwich for Julia Roberts?
Yes, I did.
Wow, I love
and
it.
She said, that would be
great
great.
claim to fame there. Really fantastic, David.
So I made a cheese sandwich.
Oh, it sounds fantastic. Listen, we've got to wrap it up there. Make sure that everybody goes onto his YouTube channel. That is, what's your YouTube channel called again, David?
It's called David Menon Books.
Thank you, David. And just like that, that's another episode of Your Manchester over.
and make sure you enjoy what's left of the weekend. Don't forget to tune in again next week as we check out the new Backyard Cinema, which has launched down at Mayfield Depot.
Plus, I'll be speaking to Corrie star Dolly Rose Campbell about her storyline and how it inspired her and myself to learn British Sign Language.
So from the two of us, thanks very much for watching this week's episode of
Your Manchester!